Good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to your Drainage District Board of Directors meeting. We want to welcome you set for today, September the 10th, 2015. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. September the 10th, 2015. Please join us all as we have a scene in prayer. Please join us all as we have a scene in prayer.
Let us pray. Father God, we give you thanks for another day that you've given us. We give you thanks for the opportunity to come serve you today, Lord. We ask that you continue to grant wisdom to this Commissioner's Court, myself, and all the workers for the county, Lord. That we may all do what's best for Hidalgo County. And ask all this in your Son Jesus' name. Amen. We may all do what's best for Hidalgo County. Ask all this in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Anybody sign up for the open forum?
Ask all this in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Anybody sign up for the open forum?
Is this good?
Go ahead, sir. Item number 4.
Is this good?
Thank you, Judge. Item number 4, discussion, consideration, and action on interlocal agreement among Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1, Hidalgo County, Willacy County, and Delta Lake Irrigation District regarding application for funds under the Restore Act trust funds allocated to the state of Texas. This is an interlocal that is being proposed to allow for the pursuit of funds, the Restore Act funds. Judge, you're aware of, you've been working on this for a year. I think you notified the court of this. Money's coming.
Actually, it was about a year ago.
Yes, sir. Give a history, please.
We had that the lawsuit was filed against British Petroleum.
Yes, sir. Give a history, please.
The company that was responsible for the spill that occurred in the Gulf of Mexico a few years ago. And the state sued the company, and they recovered about $10 billion. And then the issue became how to divide up those $10 billion. The government went ahead and sent the request to the Department of the Interior, who got involved in trying to decide how much money to be allocated per state. The state of Texas is going to be the recipient of approximately $800 million from the BP settlement, and a much smaller settlement from Transocean. Then now the issue becomes the state of Texas needs to decide how are they going to be allocating or distributing those $800 million to the different areas. And they have determined that the coastal counties obviously should apply and would qualify for those funds. But they extended it up until a 25-mile, 30-mile radius from the bay, from the Gulf into inland for different projects that would involve conservation, water conservation, and watertime project conservation. And what we've got here is we've been looking at this for about a year. And while there are several projects that apply, we focused on the Raymondville Drain, which is probably the one project that will impact the entire county and the entire region as far as drainage is concerned. And we were able to get an agreement from Willacy County that all of the money that they would get, they would be willing to put it into the Raymondville Drain project. The Delta Lake Irrigation District, which owns the Raymondville Drain, and they also qualified. They said that any money that they would get, they would put into a fund to work on the Raymondville Drain. And the Hidalgo County, of course, we have been talking about joining forces with Willacy County, the Drainage District, and Hidalgo County, and having all of the monies that we would be getting also go into the Raymondville Drain project, because as we've been told that the project is going to require several $100 million more dollars, but it's one that will make a greater impact on the drainage system here in the county. And what we've got here is discussion, consideration, and action on an interlocal agreement between Hidalgo County, the Drainage District, and Williston Local Agreement. Between Hidalgo County and the Drainage District, yes, the Drainage District and Delta Lake Irrigation District.
Is this gonna limit it to just one project, or? What I understand is some of this money is gonna go to different agencies of the state. And what I understand is some of this money is gonna go to different agencies. I guess different projects can qualify. Is that the way it's supposed to be?
Well, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be that way, but there are different projects that obviously throughout the coastal area that are going to be applied. And some counties are going to have more than one project that some counties are going to have. And Hidalgo County, I know that you called yesterday, and Commissioner Hidalgo County, and made me aware of an interest in the Delta Lake watershed.
I just think it's I mean, the Raymondville Drain is a big project, it's a good project, but I think the Delta area, I mean, it's also a good project. It's the same, drainage, it's a reclamation project, and it's but I think it'll also qualify to some of this money. Reclamation. And since the money is going to go, what I understand is going to go to different agencies in the state. So the money is going to go, I understand, is going to get different agencies. I don't know if you know very much about it, or
The research that I've been doing, Commissioner, they definitely have laid out some just priorities for the actual projects themselves, but they're still in the process. They're getting ready to have some public hearings this month to make a public presentation in different areas, Corpus, Brownsville, about the project itself, and take that feedback in to be able to develop the final selection criteria to be able to work the final. It's in the works right now, and they're working through that. As far as the agencies who's going to get that, I'm not fully informed of that, Commissioner, but I know that they're still in the works of developing the final criteria for these projects, but they're still in the works. Definitely, Rainbow Drain has been around for 15 years, and it does merit consideration. And I know the Delta has been around just recently, but it was one of the bond issue projects that has been around just recently, but the county or this board move forward to invest in. So it's also a worthwhile project as well. So move forward, they're very important.
Judge, if I may offer some comment, obviously it's going to be competitive in nature. All the coastal counties are going to be going after it. I think it's imperative that we remain objective and find a way to help all projects. In this case, this application, obviously, in 2012, the COG case, this application invested over $15 million into that project, and Raymondville Drain number 1. Delta, this Raymondville Drain is going to provide the necessary drainage we need to preserve personal property and life. And not to compare one versus the other, but in the reclamation, it's a revenue generator. We will have storage in the retention ponds and things. But what we're looking at, there's obviously the intent is going to be for resale. So there's not going to be a whole lot of capacity in these retention ponds. Obviously, the project is to store water as opposed to our job is to move water and outflow into the Laguna Madre. I know the Water Development Board has several programs, millions and millions of dollars. I know the Water Development Board has for these types of projects. I think that we should offer our due diligence to figure out how we can catalyze the reclamation project, other programs to allow this project to grow as fast as the Raymondville Drain has. It's my feel that we must, in order to become competitive against all coastal counties, which are all going to come with big projects, is that we focus on probably the highest priority at this point. At the same time, work with the water reclamation project and figure out where we can, at the same time, find out where we can get additional funding to catalyze that project as well. At the same time, find out where we can get additional funding.
Well, Raul, you visited with
we do have, some additional funding that could come through the Water Development Board as well. Some additional funding that could come through. We probably should find out here in the next month or so that available funding that may be out there. So that's also a consideration that the Commissioner just mentioned. That's also, I know this is bucket one, Commissioner just mentioned. That's how they're terming it, I guess. I know this is bucket, just for my understanding of it, is basically the first terming it, I guess, portion of the money. It's the second portion of it is basically the first terming it, I guess. I'm sure they're going to evaluate how this first portion comes and then see how they release the second portion. I would think that's usually how it works.
But is this gonna limit just,
The wording in interlocal, does put limitations on just the money's going to the Rainbow Drain.
I think if there's an opportunity that we can, apply for both and, maybe one project will get more money than the other one, and if the money goes to different agencies, maybe, we'll get a chance to get more money total for the county. And I think, chance to get more money in the Delta Lake County. And I think reclamation project, it's got some drainage, Delta Lake also, reclamation project, it's got some drainage.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna get some drainage out of that too, and it'll help the whole county too, so. I mean, I just think that we can probably, with both projects, maybe we can draw more money for the county.
I know, Commissioner,
With both projects, maybe we can draw more money.
well, this matter, this issue of the Delta Lake watershed, Delta watershed just came up yesterday or the day before, and we have been working on gathering the support for the Raymondville drain, and I would think that we would need to contact Wilson County. I would think that because we've been telling them we're going to put all our money into this one project, and they responded by saying, well, we'll do accordingly. We won't submit any other projects. And the Delta Lake Irrigation District is going to do the same. No other project. They don't really have any other irrigation district. But it's in our drainage district. But Wilson County has committed to, and they qualify. But Wilson County has money that we do.
No, I mean, I don't wanna block anything, we're trying to block anything, but I just think, I mean, if that's the case, if it's gonna change anything by trying to add another project, I don't wanna interfere with any of that, but I just thought if we could open it more, interfere with any of that, but.
I don't think there's a question of support on the project, on the water reclamation project. The county did invest $15 million on the project, hopes to realize that type of project. I think it merits our due diligence to figure out where we're going to get funding from. I just go back to the competitive nature of when these funds are available and whether or not the county is setting themselves up to get the best bang for our buck on priority number one while we're working on all other priorities. I'm not against at all the water reclamation project. I support it wholeheartedly. I'm not against at all. I think if we remain objective and figure out where we can take advantage. The other thing, it's a revenue generator, so there's possibility of selling, and I'm not a fan of it, but selling bonds, revenue bonds for future, to develop that project in the future. There's water development board money. I think we need to figure out what the objective approach should be to try to realize that project. I don't know if being competitive with one project versus the other is the right answer to realize that project.
I'm not saying to be competitive, but if we could throw on the table, but is that the deal that's up with the Wilson County? We don't want to interfere with that. Is that the deal? They have a problem with the Wilson County throwing in another project and want to interfere with that?
I don't know if they do have any other projects, but I do know they've committed.
No, but if we throw another project in there, if they're gonna be hesitant about that, or but if we throw another project in there.
Commissioner, I'd like for you to hear, there's a gentleman, a young man named Caso, a lawyer, that's working, there's a gentleman, a young man named Caso, with, the law firm representing, the drainage district, and, he just came from the Texas Water Development Board. Was that your previous lawyer? Just came from the Water Development Board. Was that your previous lawyer?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, General Counsel, Executive Director, District. Good morning, Judge, Drainage Manager, General Counsel, available to answer any questions you may have. District. Good morning,
Well, the
Judge.
question that I have is,
Available to answer any
well,
questions.
not really a question, but can you please restate what you and I talked about yesterday on the issues that we just now been addressing?
Yes, the main thing that we need to consider is that these are funds that are going to be allocated throughout the whole coast of Texas funds. We're gonna go up against projects from Galveston to Houston to Corpus Christi to Brownsville. Everybody has really important projects. In order for us to stand out, I believe we need to present a unified application backing up one project to demonstrate that South Texas has one priority project. The more applications that are submitted, I think the more diluted the application will be and the less competitive it will be against some of the major players from essentially from Galveston. They're going to have some big projects. As a matter of fact, we already know about some of them. And we believe that the project, the Raymondville Drain project meets the most criteria. Although the Delta project is a wonderful project and it's going to provide a lot of benefits to the Rio Grande Valley. The specific criteria that calls for by the Restore Act, the specific criteria that calls for by the Restore Act.
The drainage, the Delta Lake watershed has the ability to borrow money from the Delta Lake watershed.
That's correct.
That the Raymondville Drain project does not, or something like that.
That's so. The Texas Water Development Board has issued a lot of programs that allow for water supply projects to obtain funding. There's a big push, especially in the last two legislative sessions, to allocate monies for water conservation and water supply. And those funds are they're some of the most easily available funding throughout the state of Texas. Now, there's going to be a water supply project. There's going to be an ability to pass on all the costs to the consumer, as opposed to the Raymondville Drain, which is going to require taxpayers to pay back those funds. And I think that there's a significant difference there to pay back those funds. And I think that there's
Well, if it's gonna dilute or make it harder to get money, I'd just keep that one project. It's gonna make it harder to get money, and I think it was, but he's gonna make it harder. It's gonna make it harder to get money.
You know how all of us here feel about the Delta.
No, that's fine. No, I just wanted to make. I didn't know if it's going to make it harder to get money for Raymondville, right? No, I just wanted to make.
I think if we go up to the stage unified as a region, we have a much better shot. We go up to the stage getting unified. We have a much better shot. And what can we do now towards helping the Delta Lake watershed project? What can we do now move on towards getting some money like the water development project?
So they've got a couple programs that they call the SWIFT program. There's several other programs that I think would qualify for loans. So it'd be a matter of figuring out what the profits are going to be and what the payback is going to be. We had a recent meeting at the Texas Water Development Board, and the chairman mentioned the availability of those funds, and unfortunately for the Raymondville Drain, chairman mentioned we need to focus on grants, because although human lives have an immense value, it's going to be taxpayers that are going to be footing the bill to pay back any loans. And if there's going to be some major consumers, as the Delta project appears to have, there's going to be more opportunities for growth in the northern region of Hidalgo County. There's going to be a lot of expansion. There's going to be a lot of money generated. And I believe that would be the best opportunity for both projects and I believe that both projects that are very important to proceed.
What can we do to get that started?
Both projects are very important. We could coordinate. We'd be glad to help out the project in any way we can to facilitate a meeting with the Water Development Board. Glad to help out with any other entity, but I think our starting point should be the Water Development Board. Glad to help out some of the leadership at the Development Board. Starting point should be the Water Development Board.
I think it's important that we do that. That way we can work on both projects, and hopefully both of them get funded. We do that. That way we can work on both projects, and hopefully both of them get funded. We do that.
So move on action 4.
Second.
So move on action.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Castro. Those in favor indicate by saying aye. 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 Motion carries.
If I may, Judge, item 5. Request approval of authorization number 19 to S&B Infrastructure for engineering services related to the management of the Rainbow Drain of the District Master Drainage System Phase 2. This work authorization is authorizing S&B to move forward with the application process for the Restore Act funds. Move forward with the application process for the discussion. No, the fee is tied into whatever they have a clause in their contract, existing contract. There's no real impact on this actually being taken now. Existing contract.
There is no real impact, but we don't have to come up with any money now.
Right.
The fee is has already been put in place by contract that was executed already been many years ago. 2000. So 15 years ago, they worked out the fee aspect of it, and from that fee, they will, if there's any lobbying that's needed, or any, they will, if there's any lobbying, whatever needs to be done in order to get more monies to be, whatever needs to be directed towards this Raymondville Drain project. Any expenses that are incurred are going to come from S&B's fee. And the fee is, what is it, 2 point?
Well, it's a 0.5% higher. It depends on the amount of money that is brought in, Judge. It's a staggered type of scenario. It depends on the amount of money that is brought in. I believe it's a staggered type of scenario. It depends on the amount of money that is brought in. 3.25 will be the maximum, but that's of the, not necessarily, that's of the overall, depending if they get 100% of the whole funding for the project. So it staggers way down. I think it's only like, goes to maybe 2.7 max because of the percentage of the amount of money that we get based on the overall cost of the project. So it's a very minimal impact, but in discussions, my understanding is all this money that they're pursuing for this bucket would go straight for construction for the project to get. For this bucket would go straight.
It's all for new money. It's for new money only.
That's correct.
Yes.
It's all for new money. It's for new money only. For approval?
Yes.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. 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 Motion carries.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Favor indicate by saying aye. Motion to adjourn. Aye. Motion carries. Those in favor say aye. 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 Motion carries. This time, we're going to convene our Hidalgo County Commissioners Court meeting for today, September the 10th, 2015. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. The entire court being present, we have a quorum.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father in heaven, we know you care about everything that all of us are involved in. We know you watch over us and guide us and protect us. So we ask for we ask a prayer for you to give us all kinds of I don't want to say the smarts, but you know what I mean, intelligence to go through all of this. Budget process is very hard, and sometimes it's hard to understand, and we ask you to give us some kind of intelligence to understand it all and to be online with it. We ask you to bless our families, bless our country, bless the people that are fighting for our country, and just take care of all the veterans too, dear Lord. Thank you, and amen.
Amen.
Under open forum, did anyone sign up?
Yes, sir. I have two individuals. First one is this Fern McClary.
Judge, in your comments on September 6th, you stated that the top financial responsibility of a local government is to create an annual budget. In an article by the Monitor on August the 9th, they stated if the proposed budget were to be approved, these paid increases would, coupled with the new spending request, would force the county commissioners to rely on the county's reserve general fund to balance the budget, which we do not believe is a prudent way to manage taxpayers' funds. According to the statement, made during our budget meeting, the proposed budget would be 12% increase from the 2015 budget. Do you honestly believe that the taxpayers in Hidalgo County have received a salary increase that would allow them to pay this increased tax? In reference to your statement that the county has not increased taxes in 13 years, look at the Hidalgo County webpage. It says the tax rate will effectively be raised by 1.32%. Its combined rate has not changed, but we will now pay more money forever. Combine this non-increase with a 10% property value increase and a $16 million in new funds, and you will see that the people will pay more. To this Commissioner's Court, it is only semantics, but to the taxpayer, it means they will not be able to pay their taxes in the coming year. The 3,600 employees that are getting a raise may be happy now, but the other 796,000 will have to pay the bill and are not going to take this well. This is the 7th year that 31% of the taxpayers have not paid their taxes on time because they can't. These are the poor people that are struggling to make their mortgage payments. They are always increasing. One day they will understand that their struggle is directly related to this Commissioner's Court. Finally, there are a lot of comments concerning the county concern for the poor, but the primary budget proposed to reduce the 1115 waiver amount by $1 million. The county contribution to this program for health services for the indigent is $6 million. In the years past, 2010, we were concerned. We paid a little over $8 million. 2011, a little over $6 million. 2012, $5.5 million. 2013, we got a little more concerned again, $8 million. 2014, we really got, and we paid $9 million. In 2015, we're back down, not caring too much, at $6 million. So our care and concern wonders each year kind of wavers. And I have a question. Can you explain to me what a liaison is? Yesterday, I was at the ACT meeting, and I couldn't find a paper. And the liaison for the county judge was standing right by the table, and I asked him if he could help me find one. He smiled and stated he didn't work there. I know, but could you help me find one? No, but he smiled and walked off. That $93,000 he's getting paid, I pay a little bit of that each year in my taxes, and I would presume with that smile he could have said, let me see if I can help you find it, and then go out the door and go to the bathroom or somewhere. At least fake it. Thank you.
By then, who else?
Miss Virginia Townsend.
I know, I forgot to sign up. I was busy talking. I like your shirt, Judge.
Thank you.
It's the right color.
Eddie's next week.
Budget time. Oh, it's hard any time, but budget time is especially hard. And I remember when I was on the school board, fortunately, TEA has a way of keeping school boards in line pretty well because they judge us, they grade us, and what they look at is how administratively heavy we are. And if we're too much on administration and not enough on the teachers, we get judged poorly. That is a pretty good way to keep things in line. So if you think you're getting heavy administratively, if you think salaries are too much up there and not enough with the worker bees, you need to really look at it and adjust, because that's what happens to people. That's what happens to counties and cities and schools and everything else. You get too heavy on the administrative side. It's not a healthy way to do. You've got to be fair straight across the board. So if we're, I don't know, because I haven't done any research on it, but if we're administratively heavy, we need to take a look at being better, more even, more fair. Thanks.
I better state this. You do know that all 5 of us have declined our raises.
I wasn't talking about you.
Well, we are administration. I'm sorry. Okay, next item.
Next item, Judge, is the is the county side of the discussion that we had on the district side, which is a consideration and action on the interlocal agreement among Hidalgo County Drainage District, Hidalgo County, Willacy County, and Delta Lake Irrigation District regarding the application of funds for the Restore Ag Trust funds allocated to the state of Texas.
Move for approval.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, Judge, is a little cleanup work. It's approval of the 2015 appropriation of funds in the amount of $2,941.68.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item C, Judge Commissioners, is the next phase in a project that we've been working on for the courthouse. We're asking acceptance and approval of work authorization number 1 with an estimated cost proposal of $75,420. This was submitted by Happen Associates, Inc. for the purpose of mechanical, electrical, plumbing, civil engineering assessment, and reporting for courthouse electrical generator through an on-call agreement. That agreement number is C-15-137-0428. It's titled Building Repairs, Renovations, Alterations, and or additions to the county-owned buildings within Hidalgo County Precinct number 4.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, there are no more action items.
Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Hold in on the second.
Sorry. You know, if that young man that was here, the young lawyer,
Yes.
if he can help with the Delta project, then you need to follow up, go find him, get him on it, because I really think the money should come from the Water Development Board. And if that's possible, then Commissioner Cuellar needs to find that guy and get working on it. I mean, it can be done. We're just maybe not going in the right direction.
They offered their services, and I know that they're already working on some options, so
Just
they'll be
to
presenting
say
some.
a couple of things on that issue. Precinct number 1, Commissioner Cuellar already has a team of experts working on this funding, available funding that might be there through the Water Development Board. As we speak, meetings are being held. We're going to need the support, of course, of all the court, and we know we have that. We would like to make a presentation in a couple of weeks as to where we're at as far as
Just all you need to do is let us know, Raul.
Yes, okay. So we'd like to make a presentation so that you will be made aware of all the steps that have already been taken care of.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, was there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.